It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Welcome to a QSL set. I'm joined by the lovely Frog, and we're actually going to go right into picks and bans because they apparently started without us.
We're going in early. I see that
Yeah.
I'm named Top Hat on the screen. That's not my name. My name's Frog. That's okay, though. We might be able to fix that as we move on. But I know we're in for a fantastic set between the Reapers and the Apes. And Neptune, if I understand correctly, this match could have some playoff results, playoff contentions.
Not for the Apes, but for the Reapers, it could. It could raise them a seed, lower them a seed. It really depends. As we do see some of the first bans come in, though. What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, early on, I expect to see some typical bans coming out, similar to what we saw in the set that we casted yesterday. Lena was something that got banned yesterday and not picked or banned in later as we went on the set. So being valued at least first here on the bans with the Reapers is interesting to see. Other than that, though, pretty typical. We saw Kamazats have quite the day over in the SWC placement matches. So no surprise to see him and a number of other prevalent picks come out on the banning side. And Achilles, first pick for the Reapers, definitely opting to pray or to put some pressure, early pressure onto that soul lane side.
Yeah, I would agree with. I do value Achilles is a very strong lane bully now, so. Which it's kind of interesting to see because when he first came out, he was also a big lane bully as well. So maybe returning back to his former glory.
Yeah, and he really has that team fight presence as the game goes later on. He definitely doesn't lose value, especially due to that execute. If anything, he gains value. But the Apes responding back pretty immediately with this Gilgamesh Terra going for potentially those two frontliners. We also saw some Gilgamesh jungle today, so could see that in the jungle role, and then Huyi and Daji on the Reapers. Looks like we are actually switching sides. All of a sudden, they've switched picks. So now
I said
now on the left side we've got the Apes, on the right side we've got the Reapers. But coming in for this third pick, I was expecting them to go for the mid lane, considering they already had that Hunter locked down for the side of the Apes, but they choose to go for that Heimdallr, and I expect to see some mages banned out here.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I believe Tiamat's still open. I don't know if she's still in a good spot. I believe she is. I know. Trying to just go. Well, obviously a Thoth ban coming out.
That did see some play today in the SPL as well. Looks like Reaper's choosing to go for those Guardians over the Mages, and the Apes already having, with the enemy already having those two frontliners, choosing to go for the Mages. But for these top threes, I mean, I'm really favoring the Apes so far, and I think it's because just primarily more of this top two as opposed to the Daji. Huyi obviously hasn't had the best win rate recently, but still remains a strong pick, and I think especially against the Heimdallr potentially able to match some of that vision ability, a great team fight ultimate, as well as the pressure coming out of Achilles. That is going to be questionable, though. Mulan coming out having a ton of pressure in her own right, so definitely going to be a force to try and be reckoned with. Maybe this Daji will be able to help out over there in the solo lane.
Yeah, I do believe like the Achilles Mulan matchup. It is, I believe, basically decided by who wins that laning phase by, I think, wave number 1. On who gets to wave first, who gets that wave pressure.
Yeah, definitely some early battles going on over there. Wouldn't be surprised to see an early solo kill on that side of the map. But this is the Apes finishing their draft with the double silence comp. This does not feel good to play against. I mean, if we were asking for an annoying comp and maybe some beads burn to help out this Daji to guarantee some of those pulls off the powwow, I mean, those are the two characters you would want to go with.
I would agree, and silence is the best form of CC because it counters every ability. Minus maybe beads, because of course that counters every form of CC. So
right, but that beads pull could be valuable in just more follow-up CC coming from the Apes. I mean, there's some good potential to see how this composition fits together. I think Huyi's ability to survive in the backline, though, gonna be key, and it looks like now, as we're seeing the Reaper's draft fill out, that Gilgamesh, I think, likely going to the... I mean, do you think it's a Gilgamesh jungle or Mulan jungle? How do you feel that, like, which one is better in your opinion?
I would prefer Mulan solo Gilgamesh jungle. Like, I believe... Like, I think it was said on cast last night, but Gilgamesh doesn't strive in the solo lane as much as he used to when he first came out. I think he's more of a jungle warrior now, comparatively to someone like Mulan, who's a very good lane bully. And yeah, you can see some success in the jungle with her, but I think Gilgamesh is going to see a lot more success.
Yeah, and Gilgamesh certainly did see some success today. I tend to agree he brings a lot more aggression, a lot more base damage just in those abilities, and he can struggle at least with lane clear, only having that second ability to be his primary lane clear, and that can get blocked by an enemy, potentially by an enemy god. So not the best in terms of lane pressure, just great to box you out with, similarly to how Cupid functions over in the dual lane. We don't have a Cupid in this game, though. Instead, taking a look at these dual lanes, Huyi Ganesh versus the Heimdallr Terra. Now, Terra takes a second to get online. Maybe we're waiting for some level 3 action right there, but you could say the same about Ganesh, but it might be a passive dual lane here. I mean, do you expect the action to be more focused towards mid, towards the solo side?
I would agree there, because I don't see a lot of aggression coming out of a Ganesha who's very much a backline support, I believe, of, she's good at peeling people off of her carries. Terra, I think, is more of an engage-heavy support out of these two, being that her ult can proc on her entire team and the entire enemy team, if you position yourself correctly.
Yeah, definitely some solid AoE coming out of the side of the Apes in a couple of their abilities. But I mean, as we take a full look at the drafts here, I think I'm still favoring the Apes. Now, do you recall the records of these two teams here, and which one may have had a little bit more success as we went throughout the season?
I believe the Apes have not won a game yet.
Wow.
This could be their chance to redeem themselves, though.
Yeah, I mean they are playing with a sub, if I recall correctly, and maybe some roster changes on both sides. But with these drafts going in, I think I'm favoring them going into game one.
And as we can see, let's go over some starter items, Frog.
Yeah, jumping right into game here.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing that catches my eye is this war flag out of the Ganesh. I think we had a conversation yesterday about how Benevolence is sort of the ideal starter item over in that support role right now, and Hera is picking that one up, being a little bit more standard. But this war flag, it's going to bring some sustain to the game. And if you're not familiar with how that item works, it's really about the assists that you stack up while in lane. So similarly in Sentinel's Gift and a Benevolence, as you get some assists on minions, you're going to get gold stacked up. You're going to get some regen passively per assist. War flag, you're getting 3 assists, and after you get those 3 assists, you're getting sustain for every time you're hitting an enemy. Like, as you get more engaged with the enemy, you are getting that sustain. So it's almost rewarding you for fighting, rewarding you for sticking around and having those early fights and that early lane aggression. So I'm a little bit surprised to see this Ganesh pick it up. Ganesh not known for his early aggression, I would say, but definitely seems like they're actually on the other side of it right now.
It does seem like that, as we saw some aggression from Suboptimal and iNerdy there. And Suboptimal's main role, for those of you who don't know, is actually solo lane, so he's on the opposite end of the map of where he should be.
Yeah, over here in this dual lane. That's a little bit interesting that he's role swapping over. Do you know why Pi has chosen to take that role over in the solo lane?
I believe Pi isn't an ADC player at all, so he might be more comfortable in the solo lane. Whereas we do see he is under his tower. Maybe.
Yeah, being pushed back early on here from the Achilles, but
yeah,
Justin, who in the enemy jungle is actually pushing up, and he's not afraid to aggress. Mr. Pi may be a little bit afraid to aggress, but already on the board stealing some of those back camps is going to be Justin Who, and that's definitely a name that I recognize is Justin Who from a couple of these leagues. He's definitely been out, shined out to me as sort of a star player in some of these moments, and especially rocking this new starter item recently got a buff, that Eye of the Jungle. I think could be making some waves in the jungle here if he wants to get involved early over on the solo side.
I would agree that Eye getting a buff, I believe now the upgraded version gives you 10% more attack speed?
I think that's the case. I think actually the unupgraded version also got a small attack speed buff, but as we're looking at it here, actually, small dual lane invade. Looks like they may be pinging Nox. Could be a rotation over. We'll see if this collapses.
Suboptimal using his crystal there just to get out, but iNerdy could be in a spot of bother there, as he does not have the same choice of disengage. Nox going to be coming over from the mid lane. He's just going to drop his pillar just to try to escape, and he does. Nox could look to aggress further, though.
I think that may have been a dash cancel from Nerdy, but teammates not in range to follow up on that. So a good attempt, and ultimately Daji was able to soak up that XP in mid, but it's still an engagement over in the dual lane. They're looking for one more. This war flag is actually coming into play here as they just look to aggress, and that's where it's truly going to shine right here, is these fights. The passive giving you that extra sustainability. And as you said, that Daji just soaked up that mid wave, which gave her a little bit of a level lead over Gilgamesh. Yeah, while Gilgamesh was making that rotation over towards the left side, Daji able to grab that farm, continue farming up those back camps. Gilgamesh not too far behind, obviously still on the same pace as we're starting off in a relatively slow game here, but I think it's really going to be on these junglers, either the Gilgamesh or the Daji, Justin or Omar, to get things rolling. Now that they both have those ultimates, and taking a look at the enemy relics, only 3 sets of beads, or excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong side, 5 sets of beads for the side of the Reapers. They are more than prepared for Omar to try and make an impact here on level 5, but might be the first gank on the Pi.
Be looking. It does look like he might be looking for a kill onto Pi. Pi having that CC immune ult, and Omar pulling the beads and the ultimate there. Didn't get to really see much of that fight, but it looked like Omar went right up into that parallel after the real Mr. Pi ulted and finished the ult animation. You do, I believe, get 1 more second out of when you finish casting your ult of CC immunity.
I think as you land, you are still getting some of that CC immunity, but I mean, to me right there, it looked like the Apes were on the same page. They were just a little bit late to the call. Omar took his own blue buff and got, I think they shared that XP Harpy over there on the solo side, and Omar was very opportunistic time to gank, but they spent a lot of time looking for Pi, was not able to find Pi and Justin, who in the right position to secure that blue buff for his team. So despite a 4-man rotation, they end up just losing a little bit of farm for it, and you can see how that passive farm's really starting to take effect in the gold. Already a 500 or so lead for the Reapers. Granted, by no means is this a huge advantage. Anybody's, any fight could go the way of either team. Looks like a gank over in the dual lane.
Ooh,
close.
That is rough. Maybe if Ganesha had dashed sooner, good dash out of this. Nox, though, to escape being drop kicked into a wall, which could have probably met her demise. She did have beads up, but, avoiding having to use them at all costs could be the better play here. Just, keeping your beads up for as long as you can could keep you out of a spot where AWS and Failure is in right now, being clapped and then dashed on with Terra. Root, sorry about that. Kind of just was looking at a Ganesha while talking about a Terra.
Yeah, they're going to keep going in, though. Omar was the first one in. Noxalt on this as well. Earthen Fury coming out, but we'll wait for this Pala to pull some members in. Justin, who turns it around, helps his team out, take out 2 for the time being. Omar looks like he'll get out of this one scot-free, but that should be the Scorpion for the side of the Reapers.
What do you think what happened? It looked like the Apes were on the aggressing side, had a little bit of an advantage there, but then what happened? I
mean, it felt to me like they weren't once again on 100% on the same page. Omar dashes in over that wall, and Old Pat thought solo kill coming out over here on the left side. Suboptimal, not the ADC player you know him for, but actually may be able to gank out Omar here as well.
Omar does also have his dash, but he's going to opt to clear the wave instead. Maybe look for a kill onto Suboptimal. Nope, he's going to just leave. What do you think about that call there?
I think a couple things, right? As we were talking about that on that fight, I think they were a little bit miscommunicating, right? Like they weren't 100% on the same page. Daji goes in a little bit early, and then the Nox ult follows up as Daji's disengaging, and then the Terra ult comes out on the enemy team, and Justin, who gets pulled back into a team that is not ready to deal with his damage quite yet. He ends up getting a fantastic ult, helped out by being pulled in by the Palau. But ultimately, that left gank over on the side of Suboptimal, fantastic solo kill out of him using that level lead to an advantage. And Heimdallr is hitting hard at this stage of the game. If you're not ready for that damage to come out, you could definitely be caught off guard by it, and good usage of the Bifrost for him to escape there as well.
As you talk about the damage there, but wow. Irish Panda gonna get the return solo kill on a low HP bar Suboptimal, and this is why you back instead of reading for waves.
Yeah, one more wave syndrome right there. Stuck around a little bit too long, but it might be Dragon actually.
Oh, it looks like he almost got out there, but thought maybe he could charge the ult and get it off before he died. Beautiful Terra ult there, but up in the parallel, this Daji goes. Ganesha silencing there. Good pull by Daji. Daji might be able to get out here.
He's gonna get pinged.
There is the hunt. Do you see Terra dashing in? But an Irish Panda is also in the area code to maybe dissuade further aggression. Justin, who also looking to maybe get a little aggressive. Suboptimal there now. So they could possibly look to aggress under the tower. Drop kick into the wall, and it's going to be a clean field goal for Justin Hu.
Yeah, Suboptimal ends up picking up the final hit on that one. Justin, who obviously helping out with that kill. Nox doing a lot of rotating this game. I feel like I've seen her in other lanes more than I've seen her in the mid lane at this stage of the game. So trying to help out her teammates as much as she possibly can, and choosing to opt into the Chronos Pendant first item tells me that she does really want to get involved. She's not hesitant to throw out that ult. Dragon doing a great job of at least trying to have an impact on these fights, but this 0-2 scoreline to start off, not having a ton of success, and J-Right just been able to farm up here in the mid lane during some of these rotations, as well as having an impact in a number of these fights. 3 kills out of 5 he's participated in. Right now, that 2-level lead is going to make a big difference if we go into a Gold Fury fight here soon.
Yeah, and this is coming down to a case of the rotating mid laner versus the mid laner who just says, I really don't care about you guys, I'm just gonna farm.
Yeah, he's definitely been more on the farm train, and Ra has somewhat of an advantage there. That movement speed passive is going to enable him to have, by default, a little bit better farming efficiency, similar to Giannis, similar to Kulkin, something like that, where it's very clear, heavy. You can just throw out the one, and you don't even have to look at the wave anymore. That beam is going to clear the wave 100% of the time.
And, ooh, a beautiful drop kick by Justin, who up-downing Boomhev. Boomhev does still have the ult available, and he uses Medication Cloak to basically bring himself back up to half health. This is the power of Med Cloak.
Yeah, it looks like he will get out there for the time being. They were a little bit hesitant to dive under that tower. I'm not even sure it was Meditation Cloak that played the biggest role there. I think Justin who just ended up using all of his cooldowns and did not have enough, but another dash coming in here in mid.
Yeah, and another Meditation Cloak. Out of the Ganesha this time instead of the solo laner. Does Nox get affected by Med Cloak while being inside you?
I don't believe she does, but hold that thought. Actually, Boomhev on the front line. J-Right might be in some trouble. Good root coming out from Nox.
Oh, his team body blocking the execute there, but the dash into someone to immediately drop out of them, picking up the kill onto J-Right. But Boomhev is going to forfeit his life. Dragon also going to forfeit his life. 2-for-1 trade so far. And it's going to be in favor of the Reapers, I think.
Yeah, Reapers are going to keep going here, I think, if they get the chance. I'm a little bit surprised that they're heading immediately towards this Gold Fury. Heimdallr's not in the area quite yet. Huyi's in a pretty good spot to defend this if he wants to, but Justin Hu going to be in a position to zone. They're picking up this objective.
I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of an objective call this early, as we see like Mulan already becoming very low. The drop kick doesn't connect with an Irish Panda. It's going to instead connect, stealing the purple buff.
And it will steal that one away, and they'll be able to secure the Gold Fury as well. I think Huyi having that ultimate available could definitely have played a role in trying to steal that one away if he had been a little bit better positioned, a little bit more cognizant of what was happening on the map. But Reapers catapulting out to a now 3,000 gold lead with some of those one fights, and definitely that Gold Fury helping out. They are in a commanding position here in game number 1.
I think it comes down to lack of wards at the moment. I don't see a lot of ward vision on the map. Ooh. And color me silly, but it's actually the Reapers with the lack of ward vision, but somehow getting a better objective.
We got to think about that ward's place chart. It doesn't really track time placed in the game or where those wards get placed, right? I mean, we're looking at the map right now. You're absolutely right. You're not seeing any blue wards on that Gold Fury, just one on their side of the map in relation to the Gold Fury. So at the time that objective was taken, you're absolutely right. That ward coverage was a little bit lackluster. But unfortunately, we do see the solo kill over in the ADC lane and another fight starting over here on the right side.
As Boomhev has to use the ult to get out there. Dragon rooting someone with his 3, dropping the ult there. Pal Alley being utilized there. Maybe going to be able to pull someone back in. And out comes the Mulan ult, but she's behind the tower now, forcing your team to actually gum under this tower, taking a lot more damage than they want to. Drop kick comes in, connects with Dragon. Dragon going to fall there. So far it's a 3-for-1 trade. if you're
Yeah.
counting that solo kill.
3 for 1 across the map here, and they're going to use this heal in order to try and sustain in there. They're fighting out of the tower, and the Apes, I'm worried, are going to give it to them, but they're choosing to stay alive.
The
Justin
drop
Hood.
kick was connected with Boomhev, but Boomhev is a very tanky boy. He may be able to take this fight using that combat dodge to maybe dodge a little bit more abilities than most people. But in comes an Irish Panda picking up the kill onto Justin, who staying a little too long. And
Oh, no.
ooh, J-Right gonna pick up that kill. But is J-Right gonna fall? Out comes Aegis. Ooh, beautiful Terra stun there, but he may not be out of the woods yet.
And
We're
Irish
gonna
Panda-
keep going around in circles.
Yeah, trying to hold on to this one. Dash should come up quite soon. I think he should, or at least he is going to keep tracing this. Whether or not he should, he does have that ult come up, so will ultimately finish the kill. But this fight's going to keep on going.
But as we don't get a break, out comes ult out of Dragon. Out comes the Nox ult from Dragon, and the other Armor is gonna look to pick up iNerdy, and he is. The King Pi trying to help his teammate as much as he can, dropping the ult there. Dodgy and a spotted bother, but dodging. He dodges everything.
Yeah,
and the
then
root.
Knoxville will help him out, and the dash will get Omar out of there. Those juke shoes being put on at exactly the right time. He needed to survive that one, and so he will pick up. They do ultimately end up firing back. I think they pick up 3 members towards the end of that, so it ends up being a 4 for 3 in total, but while all that's going on, they managed to get the tier 1 tower, suboptimal 22, doing a little bit of split pushing after that early on solo kill, and they might pick up this other one, an Irish Panda stuck in the mid lane and stuck in the black and white screen. Back to base for him, and suboptimal is going to keep on pushing.
What do you think was that determining factor for letting the Apes get the reverse picks there? The Reapers came in strong, they got the picks there, and then do you think it was maybe and hold that thought, actually, as we do see the Nox ult come out once again. Dharmic Pillar's coming out once again. Suboptimal gonna use his Heim Crystals to get out of there. Daji coming in. Justin, who may actually fall. The root is good, and Dragon's gonna confirm the kill.
Yeah, and they do end up punishing Justin Hoover, staying a little bit too long right there. It was, I think, a little bit lucky that Suboptimal actually was able to get out of that with such a long Bifrost. Is so much damage coming out right there with the Solar Beam from the Ra. Just a ton of damage. And as speaking about that fight on the right-hand side, I think they were overstaying just a little bit. I mean, they were in between a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower. Hard to do that at this stage of the game, no matter how far ahead you are. But look at these pulls back in. Terra, no beads right now. Nerdy under a little bit of pressure.
Yep, and we do see an Irish Panda does have his crit online. Not as much pen as you would like to see to start the game, but he is going to still swing a little. Crit still hurts.
And Irish Panda 2 levels down, but still choosing to stand up to Suboptimal right here. I think he has a huge advantage. I'm not sure how he's trying to pull the purple buff right now, but he'll be forced out. Good stun will keep him in place for the time being, but that Bifrost will ultimately get him to safety. Next objective on their eyes.
Yeah, as we see Dharmic Pillars coming out once again. Raw having to use his slow immunity there, but he's gonna be cursed off and executed. Boomhev gonna pick up the kill, but the other Omar in a spot of bother, but a good jump is gonna get him out. But the chase is still on. The real Mr. Pi gonna keep chasing. Is he gonna get out of here? As Suboptimal under some duress, and other Omar is gonna fall, but he pulled 2 members away, and Dragon is gonna pick up iNerdy and the other Omar. Actually, I don't think it was. Nope, sorry. Boomhev is gonna clean up the kill there onto Suboptimal.
Yeah, and that's going to be a win so far for the Apes, but they've got some low health bars stepping in against Justin Hu here. Great silence coming out of failure, but Justin Hu on the back line. Drop kick, good stun out of Dragon there to hold him off for the time being, and now it's Pi under some pressure.
It looks like he's just going to try to walk away. They have the low HP bars, but Boom have a astronomical 3 levels ahead. Do you think that's what played into that fight a little?
Oh, absolutely. Boomhead has got to be the MVP for the Apes right now. This solo lane rotation towards this stage in the game, he knew this Gold Fury was respawning. He chose this time of the game to be over towards this side of the map, and you can see how these graphs are reacting. They got that first Gold Fury. You can see that dip right around 14 minutes really happen for the side of the Reapers, and it's just been a consistent fighting back from the Apes. They've had some successful fights, and mistakes like those trades over on the right-hand side where they're overstaying in the solo lane. Boom have got a couple of those kills, definitely getting those assists, and now in this Gold Fury fight, they're picking it up, and Boom Hev's on the front line.
Now it's going to come down to a matter of if they can zone, as we saw in the amateurs last night. They could not, but Boom Hev is going to keep zoning, and Irish Panda actually throwing his ult out, then getting back onto it. The Nox ult coming out, hitting a lot of members on that team, so maybe they don't want to continue, but ooh, they took the Gold Fury, now they're looking for the fight.
Yeah, Justin, who under some pressure, forced to jump away. Will be Boom have still relatively high HP here, so he's in a position to follow up if he gets the opportunity to. Does get that dash reset, gonna look for the stun, not a ton of damage, but it's Omar on the back line. He's found his way in and will pick up one, and there's still some low health bars on the side of the Reapers. Apes want to keep going.
Stunned by the Achilles there to maybe keep the aggression going, but iNerdy gonna clap dash in. Boom have going back into this tower though. Maybe they do want this, and they're gonna keep looking to take this fight. The other armor looking for maybe a little bit of damage, but he's gonna feel the wrath of a solar beam. Raw ult coming out. Ooh, and I think it's time to leave for the other armor.
Yeah, Omar getting pretty low there with that raw ultimate. So, but does get out. They do manage to secure the Gold Fury. They manage to take out that tier 2 tower, and you can see how that's skyrocketed the gold lead now for the side of the Apes. I mean, they're 2,000 up, just like Reapers were 2,000 up after their first Gold Fury, and those charts tell the entire story. Not only are we seeing that gold difference, but a huge 5,000, 6,000 XP lead for the side of the Apes. If we take a look at those levels, you can see that's translating to a 3-level lead over in the solo lane, a 2-level lead in the support role. So both of these frontline characters, both of these tanky characters for the side of the Apes are just doing a ton of work and being able to absorb abilities, absorb cooldowns, and take damage right now away from the Reapers and trying to damage their carries. So the Apes damage is just going to by default be relatively more effective against some of their some of their players, but Fire Scorpion is still up on the map, so as much as they may want to take advantage of this quick lead that they've gotten and try and keep pushing the envelope, the only objective up on the map is that Scorpion. They're going to have to wait at least a little bit.
I just want to touch on, excuse me, as the real Mr. Pie just gets deleted. Fire Scorp being up at 21 minutes in the game. You don't see that often in high levels of play. Speaking of which, it's going to look like an Irish Panda returns the favor of the solo kills onto suboptimal.
Yeah, we've had these solo kills trading back and forth over in the dual lane. Suboptimal gets the worst end of it that time around, and with that, an Irish Panda will take a 1-level lead, now a 3-level lead in the support role, likely to jump back up to a 3-level lead now in the solo role. And I gotta say, the real Mr. Pie just has not had a great go of it this match. I understand that maybe he's a sub last minute, he's put into this role that he's not necessarily as comfortable with as some of his other roles. I'm not 100% sure where he's coming from in terms of a role perspective preference-wise, but definitely not being able to stand up to Boom have currently, and this serious deficit is going to impact them as now the Fire Scorpion's been taken down, and I assume this Pyromancer is likely next on the board, and if they want to fight around that objective, it could be the Fire Giant next on the horizon.
You might be right, and knowing the real Mr. Pie, his actual main role is the support. So coming from it's the sub killer swap basically. If he went to the dual lane and the real Mr. Pie is going to the solo lane,
Yeah, definitely transitioning over there and having a rough game one, but definitely still positive things on the side of the Reapers. This gold lead at 23 minutes, 4,000. Nothing to scoff at, to be sure, but absolutely still going to be able to fight back into this game. And that, I'm looking at their carries, right? Ra still keeping up in levels. Heimdallr still going to put out a ton of damage, especially now having the Executioner online. But you can see how comfortable both these tanks are for the side of the Apes, just stepping up in the front line, trading a little bit back and forth, and we're set up for an objective fight.
We are. I do believe that was Raw Beam coming out, Gilgamesh also coming out, the Dharmic Pillars coming out as well. Out comes the Pal-El. Dragon's going to pick up that kill with the tick damage from his ultimate. Dodgy in a spot of bother, she's going to have to leave, but Boomhead is the one who's going to keep wanting to go in on the real Mr. Pie. The stun is clean. He's looking for something. An Irish Panda is caught between people, but he's going to pick up the kill before he falls eventually to Justin Who. But the real Mr. Pie also on the docket. A 2-for-3 trade in favor of the Apes.
Nox doing a ton of work in that team fight. You saw Dragon just hanging out towards the back of that team fight, able to throw out the ultimate early. So getting that 40% damage reduction onto the enemy is going to be fantastic right as that team fight starts. So props to him for knowing the timing on when to throw that out. He also manages to pick up a kill onto J-Right with the tick damage from that ultimate. But then after that, I mean, he's standing in the back line. He's ready for his teammates to, as they're exiting the fight, run towards him, look to him to help them out and try and peel. He manages to do a ton of damage on the Pie as he's exiting the fight, saving Omar, able to run away there successfully. And then there's a managing to help out secure the next kill. Justin Who locked down right there on the Pyromancer with yet another root from Pi, like just hitting his abilities, and that's so key on Nox, being able to consistently hit those silences, and those roots can be so impactful when they're on the mark. And if they're not, you can sort of just be a force standing in the back line waiting for what's going to happen next. You're not doing any basic attack damage at that point, but definitely some props coming out to Dragon there on the Nox, having a huge impact in that team fight. And although it went a little bit even, I do think the Apes right there able to take down the Pyromancer, so it's only going to be Fire Giant on the map in addition to this Oni Fury, but everybody's focused on the right side.
It's the age-old dance of time of Fire Gigante. And what's interesting is that lead that Suboptimal had in the dual lane is gone. The lead that I believe Justin Who had in the jungle to start a little bit earlier in this game is also gone, and J-Right, even when he went for the farm over gank, Dragon ended up ahead of him.
Yeah, that lead also, I mean, all the leads essentially gone at this point, maybe outside of that solo ADC role. Whereas the support's close enough to be considered essentially even at this point. But everybody is coming up on level 20. So we're going to be focusing more, I think, on the difference that the gold can make. You're going to see the players on the Apes finishing out their builds maybe a little bit earlier. Not huge, but because of this 3k gold lead, that's likely split more or less evenly between the teams. But take a look at the buffs right now. 5 enhanced buffs on the side of the Apes. They are rocking all of those around their waist, and they're in a good spot to try and force this fight.
I do want to touch on the builds, as you said. The Nox built a Warlock Staff 3rd item.
Yeah, that is not something I was really expecting. Definitely trying to prioritize survivability there, but Nerdy engaged on force down to the Urn Fury, but it's actually Justin Who now in a rough spot, and I thought something may have been forced on an engage right there, but it looks like they'll just trade Nox ult for the Earthen Fury, and they're going to pick up this objective.
I kind of like the trade there in favor of the Reapers. Like, all you did was trade your support ult. Now, Dragon's ult is on a very low cooldown, as it's already almost back up.
I mean, so much cooldown in the build, especially that Chronos Pendant early on, 40% already with that upgraded starter item as well. So you can see already another ult starting the fight.
And it's going to be them engaging onto this fight. Raw ult coming out as well. They're going to keep engaging. Dharmic Pillar was used as well as Pal-El to pick up the trade, and they're going to be aside.
That was so fast. And it just, once again, it's off the back of Nox Dragon throwing out that ultimate early, and you just cannot compete with that damage reduction on 3+ members of the enemy team, right? So that happens. That's already a huge boon for the side of the Apes. But then in addition to that, you can see Boom have no hesitation in getting involved. He's using that lead. He's felt dominant the entire game. And as soon as that ultimate comes out, a 4-man Dharmic Pillars comes up, slows them down, allows Boomhev to get into the fight essentially for free. He's going to be able to clean up 2 executes in that fight, getting himself a double kill, and then Omar diving through the back camps, getting into the back line, doing his fair share of damage. Irish Panda joined him for another double kill, and just the Apes coming together really, really well towards the end of that game to make sure that they were able to close that one out. Really, really well played team fight at the end there.
No one took the Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean, at 28 minutes, they win the fight. They don't necessarily need that Fire Giant. They had that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. They only needed that Phoenix, and when that only that one structure is standing between you and the end of the game, and 30 seconds plus on those respawn timers at 28 minutes into the game, they I think they made the right decision there. That wasn't even close. They were able to end with no respawns coming in, so they took their opportunity. Clean deicide, clean end. I'm excited to see how Reaper bounced back in game number 2. I mean, this already losing that one game, I think knocks them down a couple seeds in playoffs.
I do believe so as well. So I believe we're going to go to a quick intermission, and we will be back with the action.
since I have left, I wanna hear what that mark meant. There's nothing inside or nothing more. Hate me, love me, I'll drive you wild. Let it all go, give it to me. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I wanna hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I need to hear you scream, scream out my name. I need to hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. Can't take for granted where I've been. Went through hell and back again. Scars on my mind, the bruises and skin. I lean on you when times get tough. When they drag me down, you pick me up. So let it all go, give it to me. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I wanna hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I need to hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I need to hear you.
So I've come to the conclusion, just a ride.
All right, welcome back, everyone. After that quick intermission, we're going to jump back right into the picks and bans, and we're going to bring you this action right away.
What is up, everybody? How are y'all doing?
I am joined once again by Frog. Sorry about that, Mr. Frog. I kind of forgot about you in my rush to... Oh.
No big deal. You know, we out here doing frog things.
First ban we see, Camzots. Camzots can flex solo or jungle. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he's a pretty sick pick right now. Really top tier. Man does a lot of damage. Really good, just all around character.
We're going to see the standard Cleo, Yamoja. I wouldn't say the standard Yamoja, but the Reaper's going to first pick this Achilles, taking it away from Boomhev, who had a very successful game one on it. But they're going to counter it with an Ardio, and I do believe Ardio may win that matchup. What do you think?
Ardio is just really good at stalling out the lane, just really into anybody. She does have a lot of damage, and if you're not playing really careful, she can just outright win lane. But almost every single pick struggles into Ardio right now.
I'm going to see a Jingwei as well, super safe. Khepri is a Nami. And a Ganesha to round out these first three picks on each side. Which team do you favor?
Kind of leaning towards Reapers. They have a lot of damage. They got an awesome revive out of Khepri. The Apes also have a pretty decent team, a little bit more late game oriented than the Reapers, in my opinion.
You'll never defeat
there
me.
We go with an Erlang Shen pick. That should kind of make their early game a little bit easier. Erlang is nasty.
Face the wrath of a sorceress
Morgan
scorned.
Le Fay. She's I feel like she's in this weird spot where she's good but not good depending on the matchup.
Yeah, she can be pretty matchup dependent. She does have a CC immune ult. Unfortunately, you can't really like go anywhere special with it. You just you're just CC immune and you throw out a bunch of damage.
Now, we do see the Thanatos rounding out the Reaper's pick, and then we see this Nox once again. Dragon having a very impactful game on her, and, you know, silence is best form of CC.
For sure. I'm 100% behind the fact that Ganesh and Nox is by far one of the most annoying comps. Throw in an RDO into that mix as well, and you are not going to have a fun time.
I mean, you're going to get crippled, and then you're stuck in a Nox silence into a Ganesh silence, and that Nox silence hits like a small truck.
Close. I am pretty interested in the Reaper's draft, though. They have a Kepri, and then they have 2 Executes.
I think they're taking it away from the Apes. You know, you don't want your Kepri ult to be executed, because, well, you know, kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
This Erlang Shen, though, I kind of like it because it brings a lot of early aggression, and Thanatos, having to be a pub stompy god, has to excel in the early game, otherwise, you know, you're just not going anywhere.
I do think Erlang might kind of struggle, like attempting to gank dual lane. He might fare a little bit better in solo. Achilles is kind of annoying to kill. You know, he's got his ult where he can just dash away. He's got his stun, but I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game for sure.
What do you think about this mid matchup? Morgan Le Fay versus Nox. Both kind of annoying gods in their own right. Morgan Le Fay having that fear, slow, or clone that she can send out. Comparatively to Nox, who brings a root and a silence. And a damage reduction ult. Morgan Le Fay having that healing ult and the, I believe, knock up with her dragon.
Yeah, so Erlang is going to have kind of an interesting time attempting to gank this Morgan Le Fay in mid. The mid 2v2 should favor the Reapers. You got Thanatos, the silence, Morgan Le Fay with just endless amounts of self-peel. And Erlang, you know, he's got to sit right on top of you to get all of his damage out. Nox with her silence might help that out a little bit. You know, she's got her root as well. It could go either way, but I kind of feel like the Reapers are in a better position for the mid 2v2.
So I'd be safe to assume then that you're going to favor this Reapers draft.
For sure. For sure.
I might actually agree with you there. They took the executes off the board. This Kepri should have a fine time as long as he is not deleted by a Nox.
Yeah, Nox is one of those interesting characters where, you know, if she has a really good early game, you know, if she's allowed to snowball, her damage is incredibly surprising. It feels like it comes out of nowhere. You know, if you get comboed by her 9 times out of 10, you have, you know, 80% of your health taken away. Sometimes she just outright kills you if you're a squishy. Tanks trying to get their damage out is just going to be interesting.
We're going to see how this plays out in game as we see Nox going to go for the Sands of Time, Morgan Le Fay going to go for a Conduit Gem. And we see Ganesha picking up Benevolence instead of War Flag this game, as well as the Kepri picking up Benevolence.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the Ganesh using War Flag was just trying something out. I don't think I've ever seen anybody like seriously build a War Flag, unless they're playing like a Warrior maybe support. But wow, this is some damage.
Some early aggression coming out. Maybe are they going to be able to pick up this kill?
Wow.
He juked and juked. It took a lot longer, but that was a very quick early bud. But in the mid lane, J Wright getting half health by just 2 abilities.
And that's that Nox combo we were talking about a little bit ago. She does tons of
as Justin Who gonna deal a little bit of damage. But Nox may actually fall here to the tick damage, but the other Omar gonna pick up the Thanatos and looking for J Wright.
Classic case of miscommunication right there. It looked like Justin Who wanted to go onto the mid, but J Wright was
Speaking of
getting
which, we
punished
have
by
some
it.
other aggression. Izanami in the mid lane already, but the other Omar looking to kill NMR. NMR getting pretty low. How is Dragon not dead? He's gonna look at J Wright. Is he gonna die to Mannequin Scepter? No, he gets out with 1 HP.
Such an unfortunate situation there. It looked like Dragon could have died to one more auto there, but unfortunately J Wright just missing his autos, missing his abilities, could not finish off that, you know, probably 20 health Nox there in mid.
Yeah, and she's choosing not to back. Like, this Nox is a little healthier now, though. And what's interesting, with that very early gank, it's let this duo lane kind of catch up from being first-blooded.
For sure. It was a decent attempt, you know, unfortunately, I don't believe they snagged anybody. So it does end up being more worth for the Apes there than it was for the Reapers. You do like to see that kind of aggression, though. It's nice to see your team really feeling themselves, really trying to go for these early rotations. And as I say that, Justin Hu, unfortunately, misses his throw there. I don't know if he would have killed Boomhev. Would have been nice.
Thanatos Scythe kind of be surprising for damage, you know. I believe it's what? Can't remember the scaling on it, but hold that thought, as it's gonna look like the other Omar picks up the kill there. Suboptimal looking for the kill onto Boomhev, gonna pick it up, but the other Omar's out for blood, possibly, but no, they're just gonna leave.
Yeah, good on Sub there to at least trade out a kill. He does have some decent pressure here in solo now. He should be able to solo out his blue, clear out this wave before Boomhev comes back to lane. Should be sitting pretty with a little bit of a lead. But as we were talking, those duo lane rotations to mid, they can pay off. But unfortunately, when they don't pay off, you know, that first blood just kind of went out the window. Both teams here pretty even. It looks like they're maybe 400 or 500 gold behind. Not really a huge issue here.
No.
But I like it. You know, I like to see that early game aggression from the Reapers.
The early game aggression can pay off in different ways. Artio being a god that, you know, if she gets behind, can kind of feel bad. But we do see the ult coming out. A dash from this... Oh, more silences, a root, and a knock-up, and here we go. We do see the ult coming out of Morgan Le Fay, the other Omar not wanting to waste any time going back onto her. She is very low. He's looking at the Khepri, who doesn't have an ult.
Again, it looks like the Apes, they're suffering from a little bit of miscommunication. In my opinion, Nerdy should have easily been dead there. He was kind of caught out and separated from his team. But for some reason there, for like a solid 5 seconds, nobody was doing anything to him. They just kind of were walking towards him, and they let him get away. You did see Omar try and chase him down a little bit, but that Khepri route just kind of didn't let it happen.
Yeah. We do see J-Right having just backed, you know. Maybe we won't see the syndrome of another wave come out of this game. NMR rushing Shadow Steel here. What do you think about that?
Oh, and he went Gilded as well. So that's interesting to me. Maybe this is the new ADC way. I think typically they go.
I believe it's Death Toll.
Death Toll, thank you. Death Toll into Crusher, I think, is the typical start. But it looks like both ADCs here opting to go for a crit extremely early. I'm assuming Jingwei is going to the same Shadow Steel as well.
Maybe it's because of this healing meta that we're in, so rushing anti-heal maybe being the play. We do see a Divine Rune very early out of this Morgan Le Fay. We do see Artio dashing in, but Suboptimal stopping that right then and there. But a taunt in from the other Omar, gonna look to get some aggression on, as we do see a tower dive coming out. Suboptimal could be in some trouble, but Thanatos execute is clean, but the other Omar getting very low. And this is a very good turn fight for the Reapers. Dharmic Pillars coming out to try to zone away from Dragon, forcing the attention onto AWS and Failure. Justin Hu gonna chase here. Looking at that blue buff now.
What an insane turnaround. Suboptimal baiting for his team so hard there. You know, Erlang ulted. Maybe they get the kill there if everybody doesn't show up, but that was sick by Sub there. Sub just baits everybody in there. His team gets a few cleanup kills, and now Reapers, I feel like, are pretty solidly in the lead here. They got a nice little 1,000 gold lead. They should look here now to set up for cleaning up this gold Scorp, maybe even clean up the fire Scorp. They'll start getting some objectives looked at, and they should continue to just steamroll.
Jingwei going Wind Demon instead. You know, maybe she wants that early RNG power spike. Most ADCs, I think, would have at this point 1,000-ish HP, give or take. But Iron already gonna tower dive here. Jingwei gonna use her ult to go in, but the other Omar shows up and he's looking for vengeance here onto his teammate. But it might be NMR in a spot of bother. He's used his dash to get away. The Kepri root is clean, but it's Ganesha damage. The Kepri revive is good, but he's back into combat.
That was
Dragon
sick.
picking up the kill. That the Thanatos using his execute there to engage, picking up the kill onto Dragon. Morgan Le Fay using her ult there for a little bit of damage and some little bit of health sustainability. Thanatos blinking in onto the other Omar and picking him up.
Again, the Reapers with these rotates and these trades are coming out on top every single time. Just when you think the Apes are making a really great play, the whole Reapers team shows up. Thanatos had a really nice ult on 3 people over there, over by the Draugr, cleans up Dragon, and they chase down Omar, clean him up as well. The Apes, they need to be careful here. If the Reapers continue at this pace, they're very quickly going to get left behind.
Yep, already having I'm close to I think about 3k gold lead, sorry. I was going to give him a 4k gold lead, but read the numbers a little and then tried to do math on cast, and, brain just no compute.
Yeah, at this point, I think Sub just cleans up a few waves. Backs, they start to group up for gold over here. They do have a few level leads in a few of these lanes here. You can see we got almost a 3k gold lead, but we're looking at a 2-level difference in solo, 2-level difference in support, a 1-level difference in ADC. I think that they get some wards placed down over here by gold, get set up for this gold, and it should be an easy objective for them.
Yeah, and we do see the ward vision here coming out of Reapers. The Thanatos, you have a free ward. How do you only have 1 ward placed?
And as you can see, that Erlang definitely taking advantage of his rewards. He has 3 placed as opposed to the Thanatos' 1. The part that I'm interested in here is somehow this Jingwei is. I've seen now that there's a 3-lane or a 3-god rotate over to the duo lane as Omar gets cleaned up by Justin Hu on the Thanatos. This is not what you want for the Apes. This Thanatos is 5-2 already. Man is gonna snowball out of control as they pick up the Gold Fury here. Happy to see.
Good call by the Apes there, but AWSM failure gonna fall, and Dragon just left his teammate on the Gold Fury. He's gonna. What's happening? They're throwing themselves at NMR. Thanatos blinking in for the Scythe, and he's gonna clean up the kill. Now they're gonna pick up the Gold Fury. NMR very low. I liked the Gold Fury call by the Apes. Maybe if they had stuck it out and just went for it instead of trying to commit onto NMR.
I don't know. NMR had his ult up. He does have crit. He's probably not going to be critting very hard. I doubt that he's critting over over 200. 200 may even be a stretch at this point in the game. However, the Apes did make a good call, just a little too late. I think they had the opportunity to pull it a little bit sooner. As you saw, it was pretty low before NMR showed face over there. NMR just in an awesome position, cleans up 2 kills, pulls them off the Gold Fury. His team rotates over, and they just snag this massive gold lead now, pushing almost 6k as opposed to the 3k a few minutes ago. The Reapers, they are prime and in a really good position here to just continue to steamroll the rest of this game.
As long as this Thanatos keeps his heading, because I do believe that this team could live and die with this Thanatos being ahead or behind, because it could come down to a very fed Erlang Shen, and we don't like those around.
We do not. Speaking of
and
Thanatos,
yeah, this Thanatos is coming out of control. He is coming out of control. NMR picking up the solo kill in the duo lane. We were watching Thanatos just decide to kill the Ganesha for the fun of it, I believe.
Yeah, NMR doing a really good job pushing this lead. He understands that he is a almost a full item ahead of Irish Panda here. trying to battle into an Izanami that has Aussie online, as well as a little bit of crit, is just not the way to go. Jingwei being one of the safest characters to play in the dual lane. It's interesting to me to see that she's died 3 times already.
We may even see, speaking of which, we do see a tower dive coming out of Boomhev once again. Now, I feel like this RDO and iNerdy picking up the kill. There's so much action going on, but I feel like this RDO being behind is not good.
Yeah, she does have 2 physical items built up already, as opposed to Achilles, Blackthorn, and Genji's. Interesting, I think, to see a Genji's. You know, it's not a terrible item, it's just not one that you see very often anymore. It does have really nice cooldown, it has a decent passive, I enjoy it. However, I don't think we can really argue as to what Sub's building at this point. This man is just really confident, really comfortable in the solo lane as opposed to ADC. He's doing his job right now, and he's doing it really well.
I will agree with you there. He belongs in the solo lane. I believe the solo lane is a home to him.
Yes, sir.
It could possibly be where he resides and puts his house.
I mean, do you see that even with these 2 physical defense items on Boomhead, this man just lost a quarter of his health to Thanatos really quickly in the blink of an eye.
That could come down to the size extra little part of the text there. I believe it does what, a percent-based damage?
Oh.
Speaking of which, we're sadly interrupted against 10. Oh, there we go. 10% of max HP. So stacking health against the Thanatos.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
For sure.
We do see. Oh, NMR having his beads forced out there by the silence, but he's gonna turn this fight around. And oh, he might just die to tick damage. Nope, he's gonna heal.
No. Oh no. Okay.
Okay. How you gonna let the man almost live that long? And Dragon's gonna fall here because, you know.
Again, as we were talking about earlier, the Apes, you know, have these solid picks, but every time it feels like the Reapers are always in a really good position to trade out these kills. And as I say that, Irish Panda gets cleaned up there by J-Right.
Thanatos is going up. He's gonna pick up a kill.
Yeah, I mean, the Apes at this point, I struggle at thinking what to recommend for them at this point. You know, maybe ward up gold, ward up fire, just sit back, do your back camps, group up a little bit. I mean, even attempting to face check at this point, any of these objectives, I think, is going to end up working out in the Reapers' favor. This is the issue with this Reapers team, man. Like we were saying, you know, if they snowball out of control, it's gonna get out of control, and boy, did it get out of control fast.
Yeah, you have the Thanatos who relies very much on snowball, because I think we've seen it in the SOC. I believe there was a cast where we saw a pacifist Thanatos run, and this is not it. But Thanatos up in the air once again, looking for another victim, but he's just going to go back towards his team.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Thanatos ulting into 4 people, even though he's this far ahead, he probably would do some damage.
And for the other Omar coming into the team's backline, but Thanatos going to be the one to pick up the kill there, as the other Omar looks for a kill, and make it a double for Thanatos, maybe even a triple. Aw, sub killer. What do you think the comms on that are like? Hey, you want this triple kill? No. Let me restrict you of having this.
You know, it's not even the Reapers comms that I'm worried about. It's more the Apes at this point. Was a deicide really early in the game, 16 minutes in. This should be a free fire giant. I see potentially maybe right lane tower going down, although I doubt it with how low some of these characters are. I'm sure as soon as they finish up this fire giant, they back and group up, potentially pushing down left lane and then continuing on to mid and taking the solo tower before they once again back and group up. The Apes, you know, you gotta put some soft defenses on these towers potentially. You know, don't die to protect a tower at this point. If you do, it's probably a GG. Um,
We're being what are we looking at here? We see an Izanami with Kinsai's third item. You know, if you're stacking health, you know, you already have to worry about a Thanatos scythe chunking you.
right.
But now you have an Izanami to worry about too.
Yeah, as with the Kins here on this Izanami, she's gonna be smacking the ever living crap out of these frontliners. As you can see, Ganesh here having a Sov. It looks like RDO is going into possibly a Bulwark or even a Pest. I doubt it's a Pesty, but it could be. You know, these Guardian frontliners are going to have tons of health, and with a Thanatos and a Izzy with Kins, that health is going to disappear.
Another item we do see is Soul Reaver. So HP bars are not lasting very long if you have a lot of HP.
Exactly.
So
I'm also confused as far as this Nox's build path is going. You know, I do appreciate a good Warlocks game. However, I feel like at this point you're not going to be able to finish those stacks. Maybe instead of building that tier 2, you swap into, you know, an E-staff, even anything to help you stay alive and get out of all of the CC that the Reapers have.
Carbon Killers being dropped.
It's a good Ganesh ult.
Yeah, kind of zoning away the team, but Thanatos is up in the air and looking for blood. As Achilles is also up, and he is also looking for blood, and he will find his blood. But NMR falling very low. Justin Hu finding the kill there as well. And we're going to see the use of this Khepri ult come out. No one's going to fight you while you have Khepri ult, because they don't have an execute, so... And we see the other Omar in a spot of bother, and he is going to fall there as the only one left alive is Dragon.
That's GG. This was... Oh, I guess they don't want to end. Okay. I can't disagree. They do still have 2 towers up, so they, you know, would be a little bit greedy to go for the end. I don't know. Maybe if Izanami was there, I think they could have potentially ended there, but you know, not a problem. But the scoreline here, sitting 28-4, the Reapers just wow. They are putting on a show. 17k gold lead. I believe that's a 20k XP difference. We're still kind of at the point where level leads definitely matter. As I say that, we take a peek here at the leveling, and it looks like Ardio is 4 levels down, Erlang 5 levels down, mid 3 level difference, ADC 5 level difference. You know, that's just unfortunate. I think this game was just kind of lost in the early game, you know, where the Apes were having solid 1-kill pickups. The Reapers were just trading them out so incredibly well. I feel like the Apes just kind of overstayed their welcome in a lot of positions. Just solid play by the Reapers here. Really solid.
Yeah. As I think part of it comes down to when they chased after a Achilles in the solo lane.
Yeah.
I think that's where that may have been the stick that broke the camel's back.
For sure. That baiting done by Sub, you know, getting, I believe it was 2 kills for sure.
2 kills and he didn't lose his own life. So, you know, as we do see the other Omar gonna die. Just instantly. You get smacked by an Izanami, and what do? Nothing.
RDO is just in a bad position.
She got just, as we just saw, she got chunked once again. Like, what do? Wait.
Yeah,
what do you do in this spot if you're the Apes? Do you say go next?
There is no go next. Oh wait, there is. The Apes won the first game. You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
100%. I believe, you know, 5 minutes ago, if I was the Apes, I would have been thinking what to do in the next game. You know, definitely don't overextend and you know, tunnel vision on getting kills. Getting somebody to back at any point in the game is just as good as getting a kill. You know, you definitely put those lanes behind, forcing them to back, grab all their XP, grab the waves, grab the back camps.
Thanatos is going up once again, and he might even look to kill this other Omar, and he's on his godlike. He is 13-9, and Thanatos just doing what Thanatos does best. If he is ahead, he wins. And we do see J Wright picking up a kill there. This is game. This has got to be game. There's no way this isn't game. As we see Justin Hu pick up a kill onto Drake Capri.
Yeah, classic case of just getting snowballed on. I think that was by far one of the most out of control snowballs I've seen in the QSL so far. As far as me casting them, the Reapers just they looked insane. That was so dominant.
As we go through the details of this game, we see a 14-2 and Thanatos.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to even speak on it because I feel like banning out Justin Hu is pretty hard. Almost every game I've seen Justin Hu play, it's been the Gilgamesh. Did they ban the Gilgamesh? I didn't happen to see their.
I do not believe they'd ban the Gilgamesh.
Okay, so even if you do ban the Gilgamesh, you're still going to have to keep an eyeball out on the Thanatos, and if Justin Hu is allowed to replicate that performance that he just had, I don't see the other team winning here.
The 2-0-20 Kepri. Do you ban the Kepri so the team doesn't get a second chance at trying to just run at you?
I mean, at this point, maybe take it away from them. Ban the Thanatos, ban the Achilles. Have a guaranteed resurrection, I guess. But then now you're gonna have to start looking at NMR's god pool. I know Nerdy is pretty comfortable on a few different gods. Kepri, obviously not his one and only go-to support pick. This is interesting. Watching this Reaper's actual starting roster here put together is fun to say the least.
All right. And we will be back with more of the action as we go to a quick intermission.
I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning. You wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face. Got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you'll break your back to make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone. So save your judgment cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break. Swear I didn't mean to make them break. But they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to flame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You'll break your back to make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came.
You make me move, you make me dance, you make my heart beat super fast. You lift me up, you make me laugh. Baby, you're the best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. You make my heart beat super fast. Super fast. Super fast.
You make my heart beat super fast.
Welcome back, everyone. We're right into the action as we're heading directly into picks and bans. They are firing them off quick.
Yeah, I'm sure the Reapers are just ready to continue that steamroll. And the Apes, hopefully they get into a good mindset here for this game 3. We'll see what happens.
Well, it looks like they ban the Cleo. They take away the Achilles from Boom. Both of these soul laners have proven that they are very comfortable on the Achilles.
For sure. Ooh, and an Odin ban. Okay.
RDO being banned out, you don't... RDO, very annoying.
Incredibly. All of her abilities are pretty spammable.
Now is
They're
the
just super
time.
annoying to deal with. She's got a cripple, she's got I
Your
believe it's a
time
stun,
has
she's got
come.
long range root. Just an incredibly annoying character.
Nike, we have Soul, Nike, Hercules, the Morgan, and Terra. Soul, Hercules, Terra going to be on the side of the Apes. Hercules,
Tremble beneath
is he
the
still
waves.
that solo lane bully that he once was, where he had those very high damage numbers?
He's definitely not even close to what he used to be. When they nerfed his passive, it hurt Hercules pretty badly. He still does have solid, CC. He's got pretty decent survivability with his 2. he's just he's still solid. He's just not the greatest character. I'm actually pretty interested to see how this is gonna go for the Apes here. You don't see Hercules picked up very often. But what I am interested in is it looks like the Reapers are hovering in Arachne pick.
Arachne, I know she's one of those gods that's known to not do well in competitive smite. And I think the main reason for that is because of her ult. But instead, it's going to be Una Reverse, and it's going to be an Uller.
Okay.
So we don't got to be worried about an Arachne being picked up.
Yeah, the Reapers team comp is pretty interesting to me. Pretty heavily favoring the late game. But Uller, known for bursting people in the blink of an eye, just milliseconds, and your health bar is completely gone. Emoja, solid crowd control, easily able to break up team fights. The Morgan having the option to turn into anybody she wants to. Nike with her role, getting a huge shield, lots of slow. She's got solid poke. But the Apes, their team now is looking to be a little bit more aggressive in the early here with the Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi just really feels solid, in my opinion, kind of just all around. Late game, he's a monster, able to just instantly teleport to the backline using his ult. Tiamat, super survivable, tons of damage. Terra, one of my favorite support picks, is finally open to be played. I'm really liking all of these picks, to be honest. Like I said last game, this game, in my opinion, is probably going to be more evenly matched. Hopefully, but we'll see what the Reapers pick last.
Yeah. Me being a Suki one trick in the jungle, I like seeing Suki played, He's got the ability to also, come late game, basically go onto your backline, deal 1200 damage, and just go, ha, you had an HP bar.
For sure, and it looks like they're going to be hovering the Thanatos pick.
Hovering death worked out for them. Let's run it back.
I would tend to agree with you, but they do have a small amount of healing. I say small, but it's not really that small. On the Apes, I feel like the only characters this Thanatos is really going to be able to focus on to execute is going to be the Tiamat and the Tsukiyomi. Terra with her ult has lots of healing. With her 3, she's got a decent amount of healing. Hercules with his 2. Soul's got her immunity. Tiamat and Tsukiyomi really being the only ones that should be able to consistently execute. But Justin Hu, he's a nutty player. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, and actually Tiamat does also have some healing when she's in her flying stance. I believe when she kills a minion or a character, she gets a little bit of health back.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
so
interesting pick.
Tsukiyomi going to be the only one who's really going to be able to be consistently executed.
Yeah, nothing more annoying than trying to get an execute off onto a character and they heal just enough to get outside of that execute range. Boy, is that annoying.
Oh yeah, and when you come flying down in the middle of, 3 of their team members and your team is nowhere to be found, it's a lovable experience.
For sure.
This isn't coming from experience, it's just mildly been seen, I swear.
Yeah, so you made me go first last time, now I'm curious for your opinion here, Neptune. Which of these team comps here do you favor?
I kind of like the Apes just for the Tiamat with the split push potential. The Hercules is going to be able to heal himself out of execute range, Terra healing, soul immunity. But maybe this Morgan is going to come into massive play, being that she can turn into anyone. So she could turn into the Terra or the Thanatos, and you get Thanatos ulted twice, so
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun experience.
Yeah, I'm right there behind that. She also does massive amounts of damage. Her invisibility is a lot of fun. Running around, sneaking up on people, smacking them with your 1 and your 2. Just, I don't know. I'm struggling to decide which of these team comps I enjoy more. The Reapers a little bit more. I feel like require you to play mechanically a little bit better. than the Apes. You know, the Apes is more just kind of point and click and do stuff, but they are incredibly survivable. So
yeah, as we hop into game, we will be able to we'll be able to see this play out. Now, this game is for all the marbles right now. 1-1, best of 3. So whoever wins this takes it home.
yeah, and we're already seeing some different build paths here. It looks like both supports here are going for a benevolent start. Not too shabby. And both ADCs doing a Death Toll, which is interesting to me because it looks like Uller is going Death Toll into crit.
I believe he's rushing a Shadow Steel again.
Yeah, like we were saying before, you know, Shadow Steel, a little bit of early anti-heal is pretty nice. I don't think I've ever built anything on Uller besides, you know, loads and loads of ability damage, you know, with the occasional tiny bit of a, you know, attack speed put in there. But it looks like Justin Hu is
looking for the early cheese gang, but, you know, not finding anything, so he's just going to opt to go to the mid lane, which may set him back.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is that now J-Right loses a lot of mid lane pressure. They're going to lose both XP camps to the Apes here. Not terrible, but it also looks like they're just going to rotate over and grab the Oracles as well. So the Apes already in a much better position than they were before.
You know, I will agree with you there, and, you know, I may sound biased being a Suki player and all, but I do like Suki's mid 2v2, you know? The ability to throw the Caltrops out, the ability to throw your Shadow Steel Shuriken through the whole wave. I like that ability, you know, it helps your mid lane clear as, hold that thought, Boomhev getting very low, but he's just gonna be like, hey, I'm Hercules, I'm a back.
Yeah, kind of interesting. You know, I feel like Hercules has the ability to interrupt a lot of her abilities. I know she is she knock-up immune in her one, I believe?
Yeah, so, it's in her one and in her shield. Yeah. So
but both of those abilities easily interrupted by Hercules' dash.
We do see lurking around, but Adalis and Feller are going to pick up the first blood on NMR, returning the favor from game 1 of being like, hey, you first blooded me, it's my turn.
Very nice, and it looks like the mid laner is even here to help Boomhev secure his blue.
Yeah. But we do see some fighting on the opposite of the map, but an Irish Panda deters them from killing his support, and they might be on the receiving end of his rage.
Oh, one more. No! That was wild. Jay right here, Jaw, if he would have hit that, he definitely would have cleaned up an Irish Panda. Irish Panda playing, being a little ballsy there.
Playing with literal fire, being a god made of fire.
Yeah. Definitely not the way I would have expected him to be playing this game after that game too, but I like it. You know, if you have the confidence to continue on into the next game, keep that mental up. Unfortunately, it does look like they're going to invade and take his purple buff. So, you know, a little unfortunate for Panda there. However, like I was saying, the Apes off to a much better start this game as opposed to game 2. And their picks here should allow for them to transition pretty well into mid to late game. You know, if they can just continue on with this early game, you know, not dying, maybe picking up a few kills here and there, they should be off to a really good start to the mid to late game.
I agree with you. Uller looking for something on this Soul and taking a lot of Damahe. Thanatos up in his hovering death, but he is going to feel... there's a... Oh, I'm sorry. It was the Morgan turning into the Nike.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I thought the solo lane had rotated over to the duo lane at 4 minutes into the game.
Wow. Thanatos, you know, Mr. Justin Hu himself, definitely taking advantage of the fact that this man is level 5 already. Opts to ult into the duo lane. They snag 2 kills over there, so really good for the Reapers to understand that they need to do something to kind of to quell the bleeding. And they do a really good job of it. You know, the Reapers, they always look confident in baiting in the enemy team, and they seem to be communicating incredibly well. They just need to continue to do that. And again, like I was saying before, it looks like they already took the Gold Scorp. The Fire Scorpions the Fire Scorp and the Gold Scorp are just now starting to spawn in. I'd like to see them ward over there, and again, you know, get some good pressure in the duo side.
They're kind of just. Well, sorry, I thought the Nike had stolen that for a second because Hercules just wasn't picking it up. But I'm glad we both thought the same thing, and I wasn't looking crazy for about to be like, yeah, did she steal it? And it looks like they have this purple buff timer, and this soul is going to be as they would call it, a sticky wicket.
Oh no!
Oh wait, I'm sorry. She can just go through a wall.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I 100% didn't know that either.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good emoji, but Tiamat ready to rumble and looking at this Uller. But there's a Thanatos who has some toast. And we do see the other Omar picking the kill onto Justin, who keeping this aggression up as he looks to aggress on the enemy team. Out comes his beads, and Tiamat has her ult back up once again. The other Omar picking up a double there. Could he possibly go for the triple? Maybe the quadra kill. And Amar gonna go back under his tower and think about his team's deaths.
Yeah, the Apes, I feel like they had a really good position there, and then the Reapers, they took it back. They were in an even better spot, and then all of a sudden, the other Omar just started smacking people around. Man, picks up a triple kill, evens up the game once again. They're barely here, about maybe 1,000 gold down. No, 500 gold. I'm sorry. Wow, it's climbing back in their own direction. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Scorpions are still available. That was
the next just one more wave syndrome strikes, and we don't like to see that around here. We like to see people dying for those faults, and Anamar does fall for that one. Anyway, what do you think turned that fight? We saw the Reapers being the aggressor, they're ulting in and everything, but then we see the other Omar just come in and clean house.
Yeah, that ult, I believe, gives them some protections or damage mitigation. I'm not sure which one it is.
It's damage mitigations, I believe. I'm gonna need my production to hover the ability real quick, like for us.
I know it also doesn't last a super long time, but clearly it lasted long enough, because it didn't look like he was taking any damage, and boy was he putting out some of his own.
Yeah. Suki Omiol. Yeah. Piercing Moonlight. Each beam can, after firing, all being charged for blah blah blah.
20% damage reduction.
That's actually crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we do see Boomhev launching his ult down the lane of Yamoji ult. Suboptimal, not in the optimal position, but he is Nike, so he could just push forward. And he is, other Omar, going to be in a spot of bother and maybe not in the position he wants to be. Out comes another Nike. I feel like that DJ Khaled song of Another One.
Yeah, no, that was a good transformation there by Jay Wright. Really taking advantage of the opportunity to turn into Nike. Really gets his team out of a poor situation that they were in. That's four ults down for the Reapers, and 4 ults down for the Apes.
Yeah, as we do see, the other Omar is lying in wait for Anamar to make a mistake, and Anamar doesn't know he's there, and he is going to feel a lot of damage.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is why I play Sukiyomi.
Yeah, that was wild.
And we do see AW Sim failure getting in a sticky problem, but Clapdash being able to be procced twice gets him out.
Well, the Apes, they kind of started to falter a little bit, but it looks like they're back into a solid position. I don't know. Maybe get this gold scorp down and start.
Ooh, Justin Who picking up the kill on AWS and failure, wanting his green buff instead of backing, then maybe clearing the green buff. The hovering death comes out, but he's under the tower, and it is a very poor decision on Justin Who, and he will pay the price.
Yeah, I don't think I would have blamed Dragon there if he last spammed just a teeny tiny bit. Justin Hu getting a little bit ahead of himself, now sitting 2-2-2. And Tsukiyomi now at a solid 4-0-1. The other Omar really wanting to turn around that Game 2 performance, looking solid on the Tsukiyomi pick. Again, though, I definitely would like to start seeing some pressure on these objectives. Gets tons of wards put out here in the duo lane. Let's start getting a lead, and let's start making it a lead that the Reapers just can't get in front of.
We do see they're looking to invade the buffs, and Dragon could possibly be on the receiving end of a stun, or I'm sorry, I forgot it was a Tiamat who could just turn into ground stance and just get about 1 billion mitigations. I thought it was a different god for a second there because he took forever to kill. As we do see the other Omar getting dropped back in, him having to beat, and we do see the Thanatos going up, going on to the Soul, but is this Soul gonna fall? The other Omar getting his ulti back up, gonna deal a lot of damage, but not gonna be enough. Thanatos silence coming out. Closing a little bit too late on that close there, and he may actually fall here to NMR. Instead, they're opting to pick up the red buff and possibly go for the Gold Fury Scorpion.
Yeah, this, I don't know if you saw that, but Thanatos was looking mighty low there for a second, and he just went all the way back up to full health. This Death Scythe really doing doing some work here.
Actually back in my controller days, I used to main Thanatos, and I remember one-shotting someone with a scythe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun and interactive gameplay to just come out of hovering death and just hit someone with a scythe.
But with all these kills going on, all these buff invades going on, it looks like the only significant level difference here is out of the support. As I say that, a awesome failure getting picked up, and now it looks like Justin might be in trouble.
Cancel that, he's Thanatos. And we do see another one.
Saw it coming.
He was like, I think I know what's gonna happen here, and lo and behold, there's another Thanatos going up.
Yeah, you definitely can't blame Jay right there in that situation, wanting to jump in and get rid of this Tiamat once and for
Speaking
all.
of which, the Damahe coming out of NMR, but he's gonna feel the return wrath of the Damahe out of Soul. All his abilities are on cooldown, and guess who? It's the other Omar picking up the kill there. The stun is clean, the double stun is clean as well, but no kill.
And that's not too shabby. I definitely think the Reapers here maybe pressure out Irish Panda, but it does look like the whole Apes team is starting to rotate over here to the Solar Fury. They need to be very careful here.
Dash coming out as well, Yamojo coming out, and it looks like J-Right's going to fall, and there's a Thanatos looking for a kill, and he'll find it. Oh, AWSM failure ult coming out, but Boomhav's over here now, and he's looking to rumble with iNerdy. Dash coming out once again, the stun is clean, and we will keep looking for this fight, but he's going to launch him under a tower, maybe not realizing that it's displacement that he's looking for.
Okay, the Apes, they're...
Oh, hang on, someone has Emperor's armor, and I do believe it is the Tiamat.
That's wild. What?
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 I didn't notice it till they were diving the tower. Boomhav looking for some more, and it might be the downfall of him, but cancel that. He's a Hercules who just pushes 3 and heals.
Dude, I'm still. Why are you building Emperors on a mid?
I don't know. It
I mean, clearly it worked. You know, the tower did no damage to anybody, but that's spicy, man. That is.
I mean, if it sounds
Just because it works doesn't mean you should do it, though. This is. I'm gonna give him props, I guess, because like you're saying, it's working, but it's.
I don't know if you remember that saying, but if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Which Thanatos is this? Is this the J Wright Thanatos, or is it the it's not the Justin Booth Thanatos, it's the J Wright Thanatos. Well, he went up into his own. I see. The difference in Thanatos is one will dive a tower, the other will not, but he looks for the kill onto the other Omar, and they find it. J Wright confirming the kill there. AWSM failure in a spot of bother, but the clap is clean. But he could still be dead, and Thanatos scythe hits like a truck.
Yeah.
And takes no prisoners.
You know, the Apes, they keep putting themselves in these really good positions, and then somehow manage to make a small, tiny mistake, and it just completely goes in the Reaper's favor every time. Now on top of getting the gold Fury, it looks like they're also going to pick up the Fire Scorp as well. They're sitting on a solid 3K, almost 4K gold lead. You know, it seems like not too long ago we were talking about how the Apes were in a really good position to just, you know, maybe roll a little bit out of control like the Reapers did last game, but now, I don't know. It looks like the Reapers, you know, understood the position the Apes were pushing for. They rotated over to gold as a whole team.
You know, I feel like it's one little mistake that's leading into each team's, you know, loss in a team fight, win in a team fight. Each team making little errors that the other team capitalizes on.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about Dragon's build. I'm really interested by this build. He's got Soul Gem, Emperor's Armor into, I believe it's what, a Pythax piece?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to go into a Typhon's Fang to just get a power spike, or what is he doing here?
I'm not sure. I don't even know if I care to speculate on what items he's going to build next, because I feel like I'm just going to be wrong on every item I think he's going to build. It's interesting. I don't even know what to say about it, to be honest. You know, it's not terrible having a tanky Tiamat. I just, in my opinion, I feel like there's better defense items to build. You know, if you're going to build a defense item, why Emperors, especially on a mid? I'm struggling, man.
I am confused. I am intrigued. Is there an emotion that combines those two? Like, it's working, but it's not working.
Yeah. I assume the thought process is tower diving a lot, because why else would you have Emperor's Armor? But really, the only tower diving we're seeing going on happened in duo, and it happened once.
Maybe this build works out for him.
I hope so. Uller going the crit was also interesting to me as well, but that also seems to be slightly kind of working. You know, both these teams just going interesting build paths, but they're still kind of even as far as the kill departments go. It's just this gold and XP difference that's really working out in the Reaper's favor at this point. You know, Thanatos sitting at 6-3 and 4, looking pretty solid. You know, the other Omar we were talking about, I feel like 10 minutes ago, this man was 4-0 and 1, and he's now 4-1 and 2. You know, I'm pretty sure that Tsukiyomi's mid game is his only struggle.
I would have to agree with you. Like, you know, your early game is solid, your late game is solid, so you have to find a weakness in Tsukiyomi somewhere, and it's got to be his mid game when you're kind of like...
You're looking for a power spike, and the reason I'm talking about his mid game now and bringing up a power spike is it looks like he's going Blackthorn.
maybe he wants some extra survivability or cooldowns. That HP might be the answer he is looking for, but hold that thought as AWS and Failure looks to be executed, and it is clean. But hang on, there's another Thanatos in the skies looking for some tasty blood.
Fortunately, he doesn't capitalize on it.
You know, and we do see the other armor going in. Maybe he picks up a kill here, and it almost was onto a very low health bar, J-Run.
Yeah.
Really getting killed there as well, very unfortunate. As the fight just keeps aggressing under a T2 tower, and J-Right being sustained by this Umojo. Are we going to see a Curse Donk?
I hope so. It does look like they do have a Curse Donk actually on the emoji.
Why does
not on the other team? Oh, okay.
Hold up.
Did she go Curse Donk first item? Or first relic? Okay.
Well, hold up. This Tiamat is just getting more and more interesting because she's got a Curse Donk now. What are we gonna see next out of a Tiamat?
I looked, obviously it's not my job to point out, what mistakes people are, well, I guess it kind of is, but, I don't want to rag on anybody too much, but I do honestly feel like the Suki going Blackthorn here at a point where his game is at his weakest point, arguably. The Tiamat having a solid mid to late game is really getting slowed down by this Emperor's armor. I think if itemization was prioritized here a little bit better, I think that they may be in a better position. I could be wrong. Maybe Blackthorn third item on Tsukiyomi when his game is the weakest is the way to go. You want, like you were saying, a little bit of survivability. I would tend to lean the other way. I think I'd want more damage on my damage dealer, especially one that is known for dealing tons of damage in grouped up team fights.
As we say this, we see a Thanatos going up in the air once again. Justin Who gonna help secure that kill, but J-Ray gonna clean it up fully. The Yamaja ult is good as there's a D-transformation. Hold that thought. It was actually J-Right turning into the Thanatos. But we do see the other Omar ulting in, picking up the kill onto Justin Who.
Very nice.
Because guess who's back in this game? The other Omar opting to leave as we do see Suboptimal finally popping his ult there and, getting a free get-out-of-jail-free card with that big L shield. And all the while this is happening, Animar is split pushing.
The Apes had a really, really solid pick on Justin Who. Definitely overstayed their welcome. They just got a delayed, I believe that was a delayed deicide. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. And, oh my lord, Omar dies again.
Well, as you can tell,
That's the delayed deicide.
As we look through the recent damage dealt here on the charts, and we see that he was one-tapped by a Uller from downtown.
Yeah. Like I was saying, the Apes were in a really good spot there. They got a pick on the Thanatos. They definitely should have just given up the tier 2 tower in mid. They probably could have put up a solid defense on the Phoenix, but instead they wanted to commit to the team fight. And they got wiped. And now the Reapers, instead of the Apes having like maybe a potential to come back into this game, the Reapers are just putting this really, really far out of their grasp. Huge gold deficit now. It's 12k, 17k XP difference. I feel like this is we were at this point in the game, in game 2, I believe they were ending. No, they attempted to end.
I believe you would be correct there, as, the question has to be asked. Is this game able to be brought back for the Apes? You're 12k down. Are you gonna... I know no game is ever fully lost, as we've seen, like, some people have thrown a 20k gold deficit. So is this game a wash for the Apes?
I'm gonna lean more towards no, because they do have really, really good Phoenix defense, but unfortunately they're just not using it to that potential. They keep trying to fight outside of the Phoenixes. Tsukiyomi, really annoying to deal with on Phoenix pushes, even tower pushes. Tiamat and Terra, just insane at keeping people at bay. But unfortunately, they already have 2 Phoenixes down. The Reapers can definitely afford to slow play at this point if they want to. I don't think they should. I think they should just continue to W key and W key. They have a huge advantage here. They have 2 Phoenixes down for the Apes. They haven't been dying very often. Fire Giant is about to come up. They're positioning for this tier 2. I think they take this tier 2 back up to fire, back, regroup, and they should be able to end the game. Barring, a clean engage by the other Omar and
Ooh, that's
potentially, a huge ult by the Terra, I guess.
We talked. I think I briefly talked on this in game 1, but Eric has the ability to ult 10 people if she positions correctly. And I have never, in my entire time playing Smite, seen a Terra ult so perfectly it has hit 10 people.
You gotta watch some of my clips then, homie. I got you. Anyways.
So, do you think it is possible that this Terra could ult so perfectly that she is gonna just catch her team, the enemy team, and just turn that fight for them?
With Fire Giant, I don't know that even if she does get a solid ult, and even if her team positions really well, I still don't think that they're going to be able to overcome the Sub's ability to slow everybody and to hit everybody with his ult. He's going to get a huge shield. Jay Wright having the opportunity to also turn into Terra if he'd like, which I would think would be nice, for his team. It's a healing and whatnot. But it looks like they're going to sit here and try and take this last remaining Phoenix. As I say that, it looks like they respawned mid is about 2, but they are just running this fight.
They are, but Boomhev going to pick up a return kill there as Justin, who is under distress here from Boomhev, just running at him. But what's going to happen is the entire Reapers team is going to turn around and say, no. This is our job.
Yeah, and this seems to be a reoccurring issue with the Apes as they overextend. You don't need to do that, man. Your Phoenix is still full health. Just come back.
Maybe they're concerned about the Damahe coming out of people. But, okay, Justin. You don't need to run into an entire fountain. But we do see that this teammate is trying her damnedest to hold the defense, hold the line type scenario here, but she is going to fall, and this could be a game. Dragon gonna pick up a very late kill onto iNerdy, but that's gonna be a game.
Besides the interesting build paths by the Tiamat and the Tsukiyomi, the most glaring issue that I noticed here for the Apes is overcommitting to team fights. Getting a pick is good. You don't have to try and run down the rest of the team after getting one pick. Reset, back up, see what options you have available to you. Yeah. NMR only having 2 wards. Okay. Oh, Andrew, right. Only having 2 wards. Interesting.
Yeah.
Look at that healing done by Emoja, though. That's solid.
Yamoja keeping your team alive. The other Omar having such a good early game. I thought it would, propel into his mid game where he's gonna fall a little bit. But he just didn't carry that through like the way I thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Wright using the Morgan to her fullest, double Thanatos ult. Confusing me with, thinking there was a solo lane rotate at 4 minutes in the game.
Right.
I don't like to see an enemy solo laner at my dual lane at 4 minutes in the game because that usually means that my solo lane is a wash and that they're being run at.
Right.
Nerdy having beautiful emoji alts. I can't say this enough, but sometimes it comes down to, just alting perfectly, which Suboptimal did that a lot, just optimizing how much time he had before he could, have to use his big shield. Justin Who using the execute as, a way to engage or to take someone off the board was huge. And, Uller doing Uller things by, from downtown shotting someone for no reason at all.
Yeah. Jay Wright, though, this man has to be talked about. MVP, in my opinion. Uh, what god can you put this guy on that he doesn't do well?
I don't know. Like, I mean, he showed that he has an understanding of a Nike of a Thanatos. I'm curious if maybe he turned into the Tiamat. If he didn't turn into the Tiamat just because she bought Emperor's armor.
Probably.
I gotta give it. I gotta agree. J Wright MVP. This man literally was like, "Hey, watch this drive, guys. I'm gonna turn into a Nike at 4 minutes in the game."
Yeah. No, the man was incredible. GG's Reapers. Y'all look solid there in game 2 and 3.
I think I'm gonna agree. J Wright. If we're gonna do an interview, maybe we get him in here for one.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Let's snag the
but-
man himself.
I think we're gonna go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with an interview. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Jay Wright, who had an amazing game on that Morgan, and I just gotta say that was awesome to cast and watch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta ask. My first question is, how do you have a limit on your god pool? J-Ray, I mean,
Not really. Like I'll play whatever, except I can't really play hunters. I just don't really enjoy them. But right now, like mages, I haven't really got to play mages that I like to play. Like I like Janus, I like Merlin, but they're not so good in some of the comps we've had so far. But
for sure.
so we're just picking what's good into stuff right now.
Okay.
You know, off the back of that, we saw you at 4 minutes in the game turn into a Nike. What? Why? Like, did you just think, hey, I want another health shield or what?
Nike's OP. But nah, so turning to Nike early, I mean, it does decent amount of damage, and they're all slowed, and they don't really expect it. Like, I could bait them. Like, the Tsukiyomi, he ulted me, I turned into the Nike, and I ulted him, and then he got baited into the fight, and then he kind of just died, and we won the fight.
No. My next question, I'm not trying to BM anybody. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings, but I happen to notice that the enemy team had built the Emperor's armor. Would you? Is that something that's going around nowadays, or what's the?
I don't think so. I don't really know what that was. I think it might have been kind of meme because I mean he also built an Ankh, which I mean yeah they cut an Ankh would have been good on their team, but I don't know why he built it.
That was my thought process as well.
So
Well, that's all my questions.
All right. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone?
Sure, I got 2 shout outs. I got one for Chef, he stinks, he's washed, and then the other one is for Metamorphic. He told me to say water.
Okay.
And that's it.
Water.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be the cast for tonight. We do have some casts going on tomorrow. I believe it is going to be the minor set of the Ferryman versus the Frost Foxes. So keep your ear out for that. But have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up, Jarrett.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.